Our environment lecture. So, coming to the introductory part, in this particular lecture, we will be dealing with the environment, the factors affecting the environment, the importance of environment, our relationship with the environment, and the trophic levels of life. So, the environment, right? Now, let's start with the environment, okay? Our environment is composed of various biotic and abiotic factors which interact with each other. Human activities have a great impact on the functioning of the environment. The waste generated by various human activities may be biodegradable or non biodegradable. The enzymes present in the body of the decomposers are capable of breaking down the biodegradable substances. But for the non biodegradable ones like plastics and synthetic pesticides, as they persist for long duration, may harm its biotic factors. So here I have discussed very new terms. So let me define them for you. So what is the environment? So an environment is a surrounding or the condition in which a person, animal or a plant lives or operates. Biodegradable substances are those that are broken down by biological processes, and non-biodegradable substances are those substances that are not broken down by biological processes. Now, let's move on to a new type of a substance called as enzymes. But what actually are enzymes? Let me define them for you. So, it is a substance produced by a living organism which acts as a catalyst to bring out a specific biochemical reaction. It helps in decomposition of the biodegradable substance. Note that enzymes cannot decompose non-biodegradable substances. Okay. Now, coming to the ill effects of the NBD substances, where NBD stands for non-biodegradable. Because these NBD substances aren't decomposed that easily in nature, for example, plastics, thermocol, and synthetic fertilizers, the other problem is that they persist for a very, very long time in the environment. So, this is obviously another huge drawback of these substances. They, in fact, on being subjected to environmental changes, may be hazardous, right? For example, plastics, when heated, they release very poisonous gases. Fertilizers, which are very harmful for the agricultural development, etc. So, for a further understanding, let me show you some pictures of how the non-biodegradable substances are hazardous. So given below are four ugly pictures which obviously show you how harmful these NBD substances are. Now, let's discuss about the ecosystem. Coming to the definition, it is a unit formed by all the interacting organisms in an area together with their physical environment. So, in an ecosystem, the abiotic and biotic factors interact to form a stable unit. Now, what are the biotic and abiotic factors? So, coming to the definition again, let me define what are biotic factors and what are abiotic factors. So, definitions. So the definition of biotic factor would be the living component of the environment such as a plant, animal, etc. which interact with each other as well as the abiotic factors of the ecosystem. The abiotic factors are non-living components of the environment such as water, temperature, soil, etc. that influence the composition and the growth of an ecosystem. Fine. So coming back to our topic of the ecosystem, under this following heading, I would say that the size of the ecosystem ranges in size from a small pond or a backyard garden to a large entire rainforest. An ecosystem may be natural or it may be artificial, right? So the biotic factors may be classified as the producer, the consumer, and the decomposer. Note that this classification of producer, consumer, and decomposers is purely depending on their mode of nutrition of the animals, etc. Now, what are these new three terms, right? Let me define them for you. So, coming to the definition sector again, let's define producers. These are organisms like plants and blue-green algae that produce complex organic compounds from simple inorganic compounds using energy from sunlight in the presence of chlorophyll. Coming to consumers, these are organisms that feed directly or indirectly on producers and cannot synthesize their own food from inorganic sources. Now let me define the decomposers. These are organisms that feed on the dead remains of the waste products of organisms and carry out nutrient cycling by breaking down complex organic matter into simple inorganic ones. Okay? So coming back to our topic of ecosystem, under this particular heading, we have the food manufactured by the producer from simple inorganic substances which will be utilized directly or indirectly by the consumers. Some of the consumers are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and parasites. The decomposers break down the dead bodies and waste of the organisms and help in nutrient recycling. Let me again come back to the definition sector to define these four new terms. So the first term was a herbivore. These are animals that feed chiefly on plants, for example, deer. The other one would be a carnivore, the organisms that mainly feed on the flesh or meat of animals, like the tiger, the lion, etc. An omnivore is an animal that feeds on both animal and vegetable substances, for example, the human being. And the other one is a parasite, which is an organism that lives off in another organism, obtaining nourishment and protection while offering no benefit in return. For example, leeches. So again coming back to the ecosystem, here we define that the food chains are present in every ecosystem and each food chain is composed of 5 trophic levels as shown below, like 3 to 5 trophic levels. Here we have shown 4, please have a look. Now, what are trophic levels? So let's study about them. So it is basically a pyramid showing the levels of producer, consumer and decomposer. Please have a look of the diagram which will be shown below. Okay, this is the trophical level showing the producer, herbivore, carnivore and omnivore. So there is actually a flow of energy between all the levels of this pyramid. Okay. So coming to the statistical part of this diagram, it was found that producers convert the solar energy into chemical energy, which is then utilized by the consumers and the decomposers. About 1% of the solar energy falling on the leaves is utilized by plants for photosynthesis, A large amount of energy loss occurs when the organism of high trophic level feeds on the lower one. There's only 10% of flow of energy from each level from the start. Due to this energy loss, only 4 to 5 trophic levels are present in the food chain and not more than that. Okay? So, let's learn about a food chain. A food chain is a schematic representation of the interdependence of various animals, plants, and nature on each other, as shown in this particular diagram. Similarly, we have another chart showing the dependence on the nature by the animals and birds, etc. Now, let's define something called as a food web. So, the food web. Coming to the definition part of this, as the name suggests, it's a complex network of many interconnected food chains and feeding relationships. Okay, so here I have a particular food web for an illustrative purpose. Please have a look. So for some more theory on a food web, food webs consist of several interconnected food chains and are more common in nature. The flow of energy is unidirectional and cannot be utilized by previous trophic levels. The non-biodegradable chemicals like pesticides and insecticides enter the food chain in land and aquatic ecosystems and then accumulate progressively at each trophic level. This is known as biological magnification. Okay? So, let us see how do we affect the environment. Okay? There are some prominent phenomena occurring to say it loud that we ourselves affect our own environment. Of them, the most prominent ones are the ozone layer depletion and the garbage mismanagement. These are the two topics which we will be discussing in this particular lecture. There are actually many more, but we are basically stressing on these two only. So let's start with the ozone layer depletion. Ozone O3 is a molecule formed by three atoms of oxygen. While oxygen, which is normally referred to as oxygen only, it is essential for all aerobic forms of life. Ozone is deadly poisonous. Note that ozone is very, very poisonous. So, ozone at the higher levels of atmosphere is a product of UV radiations acting on the oxygen molecule. So the higher energy UV radiation split apart some of the molecular oxygen into free oxygen atoms. These atoms recombine with the molecular oxygen to form ozone. Okay. So the amount of ozone in the atmosphere began to drop sharply in the 1980s. This decrease has been linked to synthetic chemicals like CFCs, which are used as refrigerants and fire extinguishers. Now, let's learn about garbage mismanagement. It is basically observed in the disposal of large amounts of garbage produced in any human settlement, especially in the cities and towns, which is causing a major environmental problem. Changes in our lifestyle and the attitude have created many disposable items, many of which are non biodegradable. For example, plastic bags, plastic cups, whatnot. So, to have a proper management of the garbage, we should have effective methods of water disposal in order to reduce the harmful effects of these products on the environment. So, in this way, we will be ending our lecture. So, thank you for watching.